Hey guys, in this video I want to show you how to get your moving dots assignment up and running. So open up Photoshop, go to new file, we're going to change the width and height over here. First, change inches to pixels. The width is going to be 1280. The height is going to be 720. File name can be called MD for moving dots, space, your name. Color mode, RGB is fine. Background contents, let's change that to transparent. And then go ahead and click on Create. So take a moment to check over your settings and then click on Create. You should have something that looks like this. Next, let's get the workspace in. So up top, Window, Workspace, Motion. Window, Workspace, Motion. By clicking on Motion, you should get the timeline at the bottom, the layers on the side. If you don't, go to Window, Workspace, Reset Motion. Window, Workspace, Reset Motion. You should reset it to the default. You can see how it updated over here as well. Great. I'm going to drag my timeline up so you can see a bit better. Now we're going to create a video timeline. So if you click on this arrow, there's two different options. Click on the Create Video Timeline and create a video timeline. I'm going to scale this out. A little slider to show that at the bottom. I just want to see my timeline. We're going to change it to 12 frames per second. So if you see down here, right now it's at 29.97. So 30 frames per second, way too much. Go to the sandwich button, click on that, go to Set Timeline Frame Rate. We're going to set that to 12. Click OK. Next, we're going to add some layers. So we have our background layer. Let's go ahead and write that in. So BG for background. And let's add in another layer called Guide, or dot guide. Dot guide. And then go to Layer, up top, Video Layers, New Blank Video Layer. Layer, Video Layers, New Blank Video Layer. This will create a special blue layer that we can draw on frame by frame. Now to finish setting up our scene, let's go ahead, go back to the sandwich button, enable timeline shortcuts, and you can go ahead and enable onion skin. Onion skin allows you to see your previous frame and future frame. I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger. Now for this assignment, you can go in between 1 to 3 seconds. Just gonna move this slider down to 3. Oh, let's call layer 1.1. Or we could call it drawing. Okay, sweet. So by now, you should have 3 layers: the background, dot guide, and drawing. Now for this assignment, I want you to use some type of color palette of 3 colors. So if you go to this website, coolors.co, you can go and add a tag of 3 colors and find a color scheme that you would like to use. So I'm going to use, guess it doesn't matter for a tutorial. I like this one. So your background is going to be one of these colors. I'll choose this dark blue. You can click on it. See how it copied to my keyboard? And go to my color over here. I'm going to drag my color picker over. And then you can paste that code at the bottom. So Command V to paste it. I'll get the exact blue that I had before. To paint my background, make sure your background is selected. You can use the paint bucket tool. So I right click, paint bucket, and fill it in. Next, I'm going to lock my background so I don't touch it. I'll lock it in the layer panel over here. See that lock button's on? Great. Now let's add the other colors in. So I'm just going to grab my paintbrush tool so I can color on it. I'm going to go back to my window. When I click on this one, the red, go back to my colors, paste that in. Now I should be able to draw with, yep, got that red. I'm going to go ahead and get that orange. I get that orange in. Great. Okay, now what is this dot guide that we have? This dot guide is going to help us have a guide for our dots and how I want them to move, or how you would want your dots to move. So I'm going to go in, I got my brush over here. You could use brush or pencil. And I want to draw a path of how I want my dots to move. So I'm going to go probably, nah, not like that. Probably enter, loop-de-loop. Yeah, that's going to be my first dot that I work on. You'll be doing 2 dots. Next, I want to think about how the dot is going to go through this. Kind of like a roller coaster. Roller coasters are usually slow, and then fast, slow, and then fast, right? So kind of thinking about how I can do this movement. I want to draw these little markers or little pegs. And if they're closer together, my dot will move slower. If they're farther apart, my dot's going to move fast. Let me go ahead and zoom in. I have a little more drawing space. Again, I'm on my dot guide. I have a trackpad, so I'm zooming in with that. Could also use this handy dandy magnifying glass. So I'm just going to go through my guide and think of how I want it to move. These pegs are closer up top because it's slowing down. And then it's going to start accelerating. So these pegs are a little farther apart. I'm going to use my space bar to grab the canvas and shift over. I'm going to slow down up top. Space bar to move the canvas, and then accelerate back down. And it's going to exit. Now let's see how that is when I actually draw it in. Move my canvas back. I'm holding down the space bar and clicking and dragging. I want to sample one of the colors that I added. I want to go over here. This is a color picker, so I can sample that red. Go back to my brush. Now notice I'm in my animation layer, so this drawing layer. And if you have all the settings that I told you in the beginning, enable shortcut keys, you should be able to go frame by frame, left to right with your arrow keys. See that? I'm going to turn off my background so that onion skin is unaffected. See that? Nice. So now I'm going to go in on my drawing layer. I'm going to lock in my guide. So dot guide, I'm going to lock that in so I don't draw on it by mistake. Go back to my drawing layer. Start drawing in my dot. To make things a little bit easier, I'm going to change my brush size up here. I'm going to change that. I'm going to change to a pencil. hardness of the pencil. It doesn't have that that kind of soft edge as a brush does. So I want to do that. So my first frame, I'm not going to have my ball in. My second frame, start having it come in just a little bit. Next frame, it's going to be on this marker that I placed. Next frame. I want to try to make it the same size if I can. And I'm just going to repeat this process until I have the ball going all around my guide. And hold down my space bar to drag the canvas. Let go of my space bar to keep drawing. And if I need to undo, whoops, did I just draw them? Ah, I forgot to go frame by frame. I make mistakes too. That was hilarious. There we go. My bad. If you make a mistake, just like I did, you can use Command Z, or you can go up here to File, Undo. So, multiple options. This is just going to be my first pass. I probably want to experiment with the ball. I might want to make the ball like that, just to indicate some movement. But we'll see where it goes. We just demo this one first. See how it looks. And again, the idea is if these pegs are closer, the ball will look like it's moving slower. I'm just using my arrow keys to go back and forth from frames. Great. So mine ended around 2 seconds and 8 frames in. Let's go ahead. I want to zoom out. Command 0 to fit the frame, and then spacebar to play your animation. Nice. I'm going to go ahead and turn off onion skin so I can see a little more clearly how it looks. Nice. That's not bad. If I turn off the guide, I'll have a better idea of how it looks. Yeah. To play around with it more, I'll probably go back and kind of like, whoops, it's a little too big. Let me zoom in. This time I'll use my zoom in tool. I'll put my guide back on using my brush. So if I change these just a little bit, I like a little line to indicate movement. Might look just a little bit faster. You might want to be more intentional with how your line looks. See how that looks. I just did a few of them. It's okay. It's just a tutorial. If I had more time, I'd definitely go back and do more. But yeah, for the sake of the tutorial, that's kind of what you do. You can play around with depth. I'll have some examples in class of how creative you can get. So this is just level 1. Make the ball move across the screen. You will be responsible for 2 dots. You also have 2 dot guides, and you'll be using 3 colors. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know in class. To finish off this video, let me show you how to save it. So you go to File, Save As, File, Save As. The first file you're going to do is a Photoshop file. So it should be like that by default. So Format, Photoshop. Destination, I would choose your desktop so that you can find it. If you can find it in Documents, great. But I would recommend your desktop. Save it there. You get a little pop-up screen. Say OK. And then next up, you want to save it as an animation file. So turn off your guide. So that should leave you with your background and your dot. Again, you're going to be animating 2 dots, not 1. Go to File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. File, Export, Save for Web Legacy. Click on that. You should get a little preview here. Yep, it works. Great. I'm going to go ahead and say Save. I'm also going to save this to my desktop. Save it as is. All the correct settings. Save. If it's playing on this, that means you're good to go. Then you can go ahead and turn in those files on Schoology. So yeah, now if you have any questions, let me know.